I'm David Hernandez, and I want to welcome you to the Old Bridge Votes Council Candidates 2025. On November 4th, Old Bridge residents will go to the polls to elect 6 candidates for the 6 ward seats on the Township Council. We're going to bring you interviews with all of the candidates here on Old Bridge TV. I will introduce each candidate, and they will have 1 minute to tell you something about themselves. Then I will ask questions about various topics. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to respond to a question, and each will have a 1-minute rebuttal. Before we begin, off camera, the candidates drew straws to determine who speaks first. In this segment, we're going to hear from Ward 3 candidates. We have our incumbent, Councilman Kiran Desai, Democrat, and the challenger, John Reilly, the Republican. So welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So before we got started, we drew straws, and John, you won the short straw, so you're going to be the first to answer some questions here.
Okay.
So as we get started, as we've been doing with all the other candidates, we always like to hear about who you are and what you're about. So please tell us about yourself. You have 2 minutes.
My name is John Reilly. I've been a resident of Old Bridge for 27 years, married to my beautiful wife for 33 years. We've been blessed with 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls, who all attended Old Bridge schools from K through 12. Involved with a lot of sports over the years, rec leagues. Then they got into the Old Bridge, moved up in the schools, and they got into the track and swim, and my boys played football. One of my daughters also sang in the choir. So it's been a real nice place to raise a family. I've also been a member of Cheesequake Volunteer Fire Company for 23 years now, coming up on 24. I've held many positions at Cheesequake. On the administrative end, I was the corresponding secretary, as well as the president and the vice president. I was also a New York City plumber, recently retired after 40 years there, and hold a lot of positions there. Trustee on a board for supplemental benefits, as well as ran a Civil Service Plumbers Association for about 20 years. I was the treasurer as well as the president.
Well, wonderful, thank you.
Yeah.
So your daughter sings. Are you going to sing for us a little bit today?
Not me. Not me.
Councilman Desai, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Please tell us about yourself, sir.
My name is Kiran Desai. I'm currently serving as a councilman from Ward 3 since 22. I'm a resident of Old Bridge for more than 40 years. Since 1981, I am in the town. I had 3 children. All 3 went through Old Bridge school system, K-12, and they are well settled. My eldest daughter, she is in legal profession. My son is a CPA, and my other daughter, she is a occupation therapist in master, and she works as a teacher in New York City public school. By profession, I'm an accountant, a small business accountant. And actually, today is the last day of filing the extended tax return.
Yes, it is.
I still have to do 3. But as my mother said long time ago when I was very young, that public service is a service to God. And that's the motto I accepted. So since my college day, I have tried to help people around me and in my community. So I have worked many years. I have established many South Asian organizations, either it is religious, culture or educational. Currently, I am serving on many organizations, and my principle, why I want to run.
Well, we'll get to that in one moment. We're going to ask about
Okay.
some of those things. So
Okay.
thank you for your intros. We have a number of questions for you to be able to answer, to let the constituents, the residents know about you, your platforms. We'll have opportunity. We have a clock on the table, so you'll have the opportunity to answer once the clock dings. Please finish your sentence, and then we'll continue to move right on. So, John, coming right back on over to you. As the challenger, why are you running?
Well, I've always been a person who's got involved, got things done. Being recently retired, I thought what better way to give back to the community that's given so much to me and my family than to run for town council. I feel I'd be an extremely effective advocate for Ward 3. I feel as well as all of Oldbridge. And I feel that, I've learned a lot of leadership skills over my life and my career, and I think that will carry over to the council when I'm elected.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you. And why would you like to continue to run?
Okay. I want to give back to my community, Oldbridge, and the country I love, America. The price of freedom and liberty is service and dedication to the public good. I know firsthand how people living in other countries can be denied the most basic freedoms and rights. Every time I see the Statue of Liberty or American flag, I am reminded of what that means to be an American, and is renews my desire to serve our community. I believe the right to vote is a fundamental to our democracy, and I want to make in-person voting accessible for all voters in Ward 3 and beyond, and protect the ability of people to vote by mail or in early voting, so people's voice can be heard and they can express their opinion. That's the reason I'm running, because I want to serve the community. As I said, my mother long time ago in my childhood always said, the public service is a service to God, and that's a motto I accepted. I believe I was that time 11 or 12 years old. Today I'm 78, and I still believe in that principle. And that same thing my daughter and my other two children follow.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
No, thank you. So, do you have any response to Councilman Desai's?
No.
Okay. So moving on, John, the role of a council person. You're running for this seat as the challenger. How would you see your role as a ward councilman?
That's a good question. I think the role of a council person would, the main thing is to listen. Listen to what their neighbors have to say, find out what their concerns and their issues are, and then do their due diligence to address such issues, with honesty, efficiency, and respect. And I look forward to addressing these things with a lot of my neighbors and working with the whole council as a whole.
Wonderful, wonderful. And Councilman Desai, you've been on the council. So how do you see your role in the past and in the future?
See, my past experience and my thinking, when you are an elected councilman, you have a responsibility to serve the people of your ward, to help them in whichever best possible way you can do. Sometimes people call for a small thing like light is not working. So we have to guide them what is the step they should take. Call the electric company, give the pole number, and they will change the bulb. Or recycle is not picked up. What is the next step? Call the Township recycling department and let them know that your recycle was not picked up. If it is all neighborhood did not picked up, then wait for next day. They will definitely pick up. But those are the questions. Sometimes the private garbage collector, which is hired by resident, they don't pick up the garbage in time. They will call us as a councilman. I say, you have the bill from them, you know their number, call them. So what is the role? Role is to guide the people how to get things done. There are sometimes major issues like a road work, pothole. Recently, I just had a problem right here. This Cottrell became Spring Hill on one side, and there were almost 20 accidents in less than 2 months. It's a 4-way small intersection. Since this new development, ShopRite opened up, traffic went up. So I work with the township administration and get this 4-way stop there.
Okay.
Since then, there is no accident. So proactive, be a proactive and help the people of your community.
Thank you. Do you have any response?
I feel that one particular thing was something that needs to be addressed. That Schulmeister Road coming up definitely needs to be widened or something, because once they open that that shopping center over there, those poor people that live over there, they went from not having but a handful of cars that come through there a day to it's backed up like nobody's business.
Right.
So I think that's definitely something that needs to be addressed in the future.
In the ward,
Yeah.
certainly. Would you like to continue your thought?
I just
minute,
want
please.
to pick up the Schulmeister Road point. I am in a talk with the business administrator here, because traffic before 6 months there was hardly a 2 car after 5 p.m. on that road. Now if you stay there in that area, you will see 50 car, and it goes all the way up to midnight because ShopRite is open 24/7. So the reason Schulmeister is small road and curvy road and with the tree, so it's very dark. So I'm working with the business administrator to put a light pole there. So that area has to be watched carefully. Police has to present there, so people do not go. It's a 25-mile speed. People go 40 miles. And not only this, ShopRite is bringing traffic.
Well, we'll pick up. We'll have more opportunity for you to do that.
Thank you.
But actually, this is where we can kind of pick up on that with the next question. It leads perfectly into this. So both of you talked about traffic and safety concerns, Schulmeister Road. So John, staying with the format and you getting the first question, what goals would you have? So we talked about, hey, we have a goal of fixing some traffic and safety, but what other goals would you have should you be elected to Ward 3?
Well, just touching back on the roads and the safety, I believe there's a issue at Perrine Road where Waterworks and Cheesequake Road meet it. That's been a bad spot for a long time. I inquired about it, and I was told there is a traffic study being done. It may even be done already, but I'd like to see a light or even at night, the lighting over there is terrible. It's very dark, and I think that's a serious safety concern for Ward 3. I'd like to see that addressed. As far as things I'd like to see happen, I'm happy to hear that Lowe's is finally going to be filled. Supposedly Tesla's coming in there. I think that would be great for the community to, bring a lot of more people into town, more people eating in the restaurants. Just creating some revenue. It's also very optimistic to hear about this transit village up by the Park and Ride up by Route 9 North, and they're talking about residential on top of some commercial property, commercial storefronts down below. I think that would be great for the commuters as well as the residents of Old Bridge overall, and I believe that would be a very big boost in revenue as well.
Yep. So we have about 40 seconds left. Real quickly, what would be your vision for some of those goals, like the transit and this business? What would be a vision that you would have for Ward 3?
Well, I'd like to see them open up. I mean, it's like a dead zone over there. You know, there's so many empty storefronts and things. I'd like to see it revitalized and you know, make it so that people want to go shopping there. Make it so there's stuff that they're looking to get into over there. I mean, you have BJ's and you have a couple other stores that are you know, functioning, but there's a lot of empty stuff over there, and it wasn't always that way. So I think it needs to really all be revamped and you know, hopefully bring a lot more business and a lot more revenue into town.
Right. Well, thank you. And Councilman Desai, you've been on council, so can you tell us some of the goals that you've achieved and then some goals that you're looking to continue to accomplish?
See, as I said about Spring Hill Road and Old Mill Road, that intersection is very dangerous intersection, and traffic is increasing going to the ShopRite. People come from all the way Route 5-6 in Quatrail, Spring Hill and Old Mill and Shoemeister. So I was able to achieve the 4-way sign with the township and county. I work with the county also on that, because Spring Hill Road is a county road, so you need county's involvement. Now my next step on that, I still working with the county to reduce the speed from 40 mile to 25 mile. That way people will slow down and avoid any accident or something like that. On Shoemeister Road, it's a curb road, it's a originally dirt road. That was a farming area. So that road has to be redone and try to keep it straight. So and broad it. It's a narrow road. Sometime if you have a 2 truck coming on there, and now, which I will pick up sometime later in the question, this warehouse is bringing truck traffic. And I am sure I will see the trucks on Shoemeister also, because Jack Brown is not a full operable road.
Yep.
So people will come from warehouses on Jack Brown, turn around and come maybe on Shoemeister. So Shoemeister Road must be approved. John mentioned very good thing about Cheesequake Road. From Route 9 to Cheesequake Road to Waterworks, Old Waterworks, is also a danger road, curb road and a blind spot. If you want to make a left turn from Cheesequake to Old Waterworks Road, it's very, very bad location. So I think we have to improve that area also.
Well, let's continue on. So thank you for that. Do you have any comments?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So as we talked about goals and visions, that's your ideas, right? As you're casting your campaign, but as you're campaigning and as you're speaking to residents of Old Bridge, your neighbors within your own wards, John, what are you hearing from neighbors and residents that's really important to them?
Well, this is a pretty easy one. I mean, it's taxes, taxes, taxes. People are not happy. I get it. You know, everybody's taxes are going up across the state of New Jersey, and Old Bridge is getting even worse with the taxes for the Board of Ed. I mean, you know, I think the administration that's in there now is being very transparent. Everybody got a little pie chart with their taxes. I think that was great. I've never gotten anything like that. I didn't know where all my taxes, you know, I had an idea, but I didn't know the actual breakdown of it. I think that was very important to get. And I mean, a lot of people don't know where their taxes go. Some people don't even look at, you know, I guess they don't all look at the bills. I think that's going to help people know where it's going. I mean, but the bottom line is, you know, the township itself, everybody blames Old Bridge. The township itself only gets 16 cents on a dollar. You know, the Board of Ed gets 60. That's crazy. And their answer and I know Trenton cut, you know, and you know, they had a lot of cuts through the to the funding for Old Bridge as well as a lot of other towns. But the answer can't always just be to raise the taxes. I mean, it was 10% last year, 14% this year. That's 24% in 2 years. I mean, the municipal tax rate went up this year, was like 1.58%. And I mean, they're getting 16 cents on the dollar. That covers your police, your public works, your parks and rec. I mean, they're doing a lot with that money. I think the mayor and the council that's in there is very good stewards of our money. I think the Board of Ed needs to make some tough decisions, not just say, well, we're going to raise the taxes. I think everybody deserves a proper education. I wouldn't want to deny anybody that. But, sometimes you have to make choices that might not be that popular, but it's what you have to do. It's what you have to do.
Right, right. So we'll give you an opportunity to respond to that. But I'd also like to ask you, Councilman Desai, what are you hearing from the people that you've been representing since 2022 as to what their biggest concerns are?
I will answer that first. The biggest concern of the people of Ward 3 is basically tax. Tax is going up. Current administration says that we didn't increase the tax. School board increased the tax. But we have to find a root. What is the cause school board has to increase the tax? Because I believe this current administration from last 13 years was given a sweetheart deal to the developer and particular warehouses. So what happened? Instead of they pay the real estate tax, there was an agreement called the pilot, payment in lieu of tax. Now, there is no provision that revenue from pilot should be shared with the Board of Education. So, money comes from the warehouse as a indirect tax, but that money doesn't go to the school system. So now school board is short of the revenue to achieve their goal, educational goal. So they have to raise the tax. So we have to, as elected official, we all have to come together. And as I always say, and I will say on the first day of the council meeting, that you are opponent when you are running for election. But once the election is over, we have to unite. And when I came in 1975 to this country, I saw the coin, quarter of US currency, and a flip on the other side, it says E pluribus unum, out of many one. So we have to be one, not many.
It's a good comment. So, John, how would you respond to Councilman Desai's representation of the pilot program and what that is either helping or hurting?
I think he's way off base myself. I think the pilot program is working. You're talking about the money that the Board of Ed's not getting. They weren't getting money to begin. This year they brought in over $400,000. And from what I understand, when this job is completed, it's going to be bringing in $7 million a year in revenue. I mean, that's a lot of money. And yeah, maybe when they're bringing in that kind of money, they could figure out, where it needs to go above and beyond. But right now, I mean, the Board of Ed's getting 60%. How much more do they need? And right now, the schools have, my kids went to school, I think there was 11,000 students. They're down to like just over 8,000. So you're getting less students, and you raise the taxes 24% in 2 years. How much more money can we give them? I mean, obviously something has to change. Something has to, and there's probably a lot of hard decisions that they have to make. But that's why that's why you're elected to those positions, to make the hard choices.
Yes. And Councilman Desai, John mentioned that Old Bridge gets 16 cents on the dollar of every dollar brought in, 60 cents to the school. He believes that the administration is doing a good job with the funds. What would you respond to that comment about?
I think on that particular response, I will pass, take a pass.
Okay. Do you have any rebuttal on anything else that he
Yes, I want to talk on that. See, as an accountant, I did some calculation that if the pilot revenue, we give it to school board, I'm sure their budget will have some more income. And then they will not increase this much tax. And that's proven. On the top of that, what is happening? And I agree with John, big revenue coming from pilot. But it's not in 1 year, John. It is over 30 years period.
I don't think it's. Oh,
And
okay.
also, by getting that revenue, right now Township has a 26% surplus. I think Township should use that 26% surplus, some of it, not everything, to reduce the real estate tax and give a relief to seniors and middle class. Yesterday, council meeting, I mentioned about senior relief program. This township has a program that it will give $250 rebate to seniors. But the problem, the income requirement is so stringent. You cannot have more than $10,000 income, excluding Social Security. So I think almost 70+ % of the seniors of this town does not qualify. And even that program is not advertised properly by the administration that it is available. So there are many ways to reduce the tax burden on senior, middle class people and veterans as well as disabled and all those things.
Great, thank you. Do you have a response?
Yes,
we went
I
over
do.
a little bit of time, so I want to
Yeah.
be fair and give you some time as
Yeah,
well,
I'd like to
John.
mention something about the warehouses. Everybody's down on the warehouses. If they didn't put those warehouses there, it was slated for 10 or 12,000 homes. Now, warehouses don't put any tax on our infrastructure. They don't put taxes on, they don't tax our schools. They don't tax our sewer system. You start adding all of these things up, and warehouses were not a bad idea. Not only that, if you get 2 cars per household, you're talking an extra, how many cars? You're talking thousands, 2,400 more cars. I'm sorry. Yeah, if it's 200 per household, I mean, it's just a ridiculous amount of cars on the road. Now, the trucks, they can be an inconvenience, but it's not a bad spot for it because they have access to get onto the highways, and they're not driving all through Old Bridge. They're getting onto Route 9. They're getting where they got to go. I think they're gonna go out of the way a lot faster than you would with all the other traffic you'd get from the cars that would be on the road there, and not tax our sewer system, our police, our first responders. I mean, they keep building homes everywhere. You're going to need more cops. You're going to need more firemen. You're going to need more EMS. It's things people don't think about. They just see warehouses. It's no good, but it really is, and it's bringing in a lot of money. And I don't believe it's going to be 30 years before it's up to the amount that Mr. Desai just. I don't think it's going to take as long as that.
Okay. Well, thank you. So, Councilman Desai, you said something interesting about the coin. Out of many come one, right?
Yeah.
And that actually leads really perfectly into the next question. And John, as you campaign and look forward to the election, and should the voters choose you, how would you work with others that don't have the same opinion or point of view to be able to get things done in town? Right, you need both sides to get things done.
Yeah, well, that's an easy one for me. I'm the last of 7 children in my family, and trust me, there's a lot of different opinions and thoughts on the way things should be. Listen, just because somebody has a different idea doesn't mean it's wrong. And I think a good idea can come from just about anybody, maybe somebody you don't agree with. But I think the bottom line is we need to work together for the residents of Old Bridge. That's why we're here. That's why we're looking for these positions. That's why people run for them, to make a difference, to do what needs to be done for the town, and not worry about, politics and all that. Listen, take care of the people. That's why we're here. And I think that's what I will do when I get on council.
Thank you for your answer. And Councilman Desai, you've been on council for 3 years. So you've had to work with your colleagues, both sides
Yes.
of the opinion. So how have you been effective with working with your opponents, and how would you believe that you could be even more effective should you be reelected?
I think I don't want to go negative, but my 4-year experience on that dais is not excellent, because we Democrat are in so minority. We are only 2 against 7 from other party. So we have no option. We cannot propose anything. If we propose something which will be a good for a community, they just sort it down. But as I said, I believe in cooperation. You are opposing each other just during election. After November 4, I would like to, even if I get elected or not, I will like to have a working relation with John and all others. So basically, I think we all in last 5 decades, we forgot and we just play party politics, and that's not a good for the long range. And I have seen back home when I was growing up in India, I was elected there at county level. And I know at that time we had so good relation with opposition party. Right now, they fight. They just throw the shoes in the meeting at each other. And that's what happening we see in our Congress also. I think it's a shame. We should come together. My simple message to everyone who wants to be an elected official, any level, local, federal, state, you have to be together.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, thank you, gentlemen, for your answers and the chivalry in that. As we have our rules, would you like to respond to anything that Councilman Desai has said?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Well, gentlemen, the time has been flying pretty quickly. We're right at the point where we have our closing statements. So as we start to take a look at our closing statements, we'll give you each 2 minutes to be able to have that statement, whether it's prepared or read. But John, you're up first.
Well, one of the things we talk about knocking on doors, one thing that I've been hearing a lot as I knocked on the doors was a lack of representation in Ward 3, and I think that's been going on for quite some time. As a member of Ward 3, as a resident of Ward 3, I didn't know who my councilman was. I didn't know who my last councilman was. Maybe that's on me, but there seems a lot of people out there. I don't remember who my councilman was since Reggie Butler, and that was a long time ago. Right. I personally, I'm asking, like I've been knocking on doors and somebody asked me, what am I going to do different than my opponent? I said, well, let me ask you this, who is my opponent? And a lot of people just don't know. And I think that's unfortunate. I think a council person who serves should be a presence in their neighborhood. I think they should be there. They should care, regardless of people's political affiliation. You should be there to serve them. And I don't believe my opponent has been doing that, and I know I will. And that's why I say vote Reilly, vote column B.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Councilman Desai, please, with your closing statement.
Okay. See, I believe how Township approach to land use policy is fundamentally important. I have served in Old Bridge Zoning Board for 12 years, and out of that 10 years was as a chairman, and I was accorded by New Jersey State Planning Association as a planner of the year. Also, I served on Old Bridge Planning Board for 1 year, Middlesex County Planning Board for 5 years. I served Old Bridge Municipal Utility Authority for 6 years. Besides that, I served on many other boards in Township of Old Bridge. So I have a vast experience in land use law as well as in accounting. I was helping year after year the senior of Old Bridge to prepare their tax return. I come to senior center with my program and computer printer, and people come there, and we were doing free services, preparing almost 100 plus return in tax season. So showing up is one thing, and resolving the problem is another thing. My motive, if I don't go to a small event, but if somebody calls and say I have a pet hole, and that's what happened during my first year of election, I had lots of complaint. I had lots of complaint for Bordentown Avenue, and I called the county and get it fixed. That is my job, to get something fixed which is broken and help them. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And Councilman Desai, thank you for your service on the many boards, as your service as a councilman. John, thank you for your service as a fire protecting.
Thank you.
So both of you are servants of Old Bridge. We're grateful to have both of you as residents. We wish you all the best in your campaigns and in November. It's been a pleasure to meet both of you here. Pleasure to have you here. The civility between the two of you has been refreshing, and we're grateful for that opportunity for you to voice your vision and your goals for the residents of Old Bridge, especially those of Ward 3.
Thank you for having me.
Best of luck to the both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Councilman.
Yeah.